For if you've never been here, as this is your first or second time, I'm the rector of St. Jude for the last 14 years, and I don't preach from the pulpit, and I don't preach from here, and I always, like Mother Maxine does, we preach from the center. However, I have some really exciting news to share with you today, and I'm going to be reading a letter that is going to be sent out tomorrow, which you will receive this week. But it is exciting news, and no, I'm not going anywhere, so you don't have to worry about that. So I know some of you might know. On this 13th Sunday after Pentecost, dear parishioners and friends of St. Jude, in today's gospel, Jesus says, "I am the living bread that came down from heaven." I don't know about you, but when I eat bread, I don't really consider it to be living. However, I know that bread is nutrition, and it helps keep me alive. Likewise, in the Holy Eucharist, when we eat the host, the body and blood of Christ and the bread of heaven, we receive spiritual nourishment in order to face the world we live and to equip us for ministry. At the Church of St. Jude, we have been feeding thousands of lives since 1956. Not just our parishioners, but anyone who we encounter in ministry. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, St. Jude's rector, warden, and vestry, through much prayer and much discernment, committed the church to remodel the classrooms, in addition to building our amazing parish hall, chapel, kitchen, and restrooms. They undertook this endeavor because A, we needed more space, and B, we discerned a desire for our facilities to be utilized not just for ourselves, but for the community as well. Now, beginning in the fall of 2012, our parish began a 2-year process of discernment. This included parishioner breakout groups during the annual meeting, parishioner surveys, discussion with ministry leaders, and lots of prayer. Due to Holy Spirit guidance, I, along with your wardens and vestry, unanimously approved our mission statement, vision statement, core values, and a short-term strategic plan. These have guided this parish in vital mission opportunities. Specifically, as followers of Jesus, we discerned that our calling to love everyone means that we would specifically focus upon assisting the most vulnerable in our society. 2 years ago, the opportunity presented itself for our parish to open the St. Jude Mission Center at St. Michael and All Angels in Seaford. Although your leadership had normal fears about taking on such an endeavor, there was no question that God was asking us to go out into the community, to open the Mission Center, and begin serving the most vulnerable in our society, that being babies and children. Since the opening of the Mother and Child Ministry, we have helped hundreds of babies, toddlers, children, mothers, and fathers with essential necessities such as diapers, formula, baby food, along with personal hygiene products, paper towels, toilet paper, and the like, food and clothing. Through community partnering, amazing leadership, and fantastic volunteers, we assist families to bridge the gap between their income and choosing to feed children and purchase medicine or going without in order to pay rent or other bills. The mother and child ministry has been a godsend to our guests, and it is immensely rewarding to those who assist. When we're nourished by the living bread of Jesus and listen closely to the wisdom of the Holy Spirit, lives are changed for the better. Jesus knew that in order to have life in us, we must feed on him so we may give life to others. Being the hands and feet of Christ in our community has led to profound and meaningful relationships, often with individuals that we would generally have no other contact with. Once again, an opportunity has presented itself through being partners in ministry, which will enable us to help the second most vulnerable group in society, and that is our senior population. Literally out of the blue, which is often how the Holy Spirit works, I received a call from the administrator of senior services for Catholic Charities from the Diocese of Rockville Center. She called me at the recommendation of our dear friend Ellie Melendez, Outreach Director for St. Francis de Chantal Roman Catholic Church, right here in Wantagh. Catholic Charities is contracted by the county to operate 4 senior centers that offers recreation, socialization, entertainment, education, health services, and hot meals to local seniors. For the past 2 years, Catholic Charities has been searching for a new home for its Southeast Nassau County Senior Center, which is currently housed at Our Lady of Lourdes in Massapequa Park. Now, it used to be held at our sister parish at St. Michael and All Angels in Seaford. Our Lady of Lourdes conducted a $1 million capital campaign, which includes renovations of the school building where the center resides, as well as repurposing the space for greater ministerial needs within their parish. The Senior Center has been asked to leave starting September 1st. As a result, Catholic Charities sought an alternate facility large enough to handle and accommodate the more than 250 seniors that attend weekly. Now, 250 people do not attend every day, but that's throughout the week. Most come 2 days to 3 times a week, and which was centrally located within a service area that includes Bethpage, Farmingdale, Massapequa Park, North Massapequa, Plainview, and Wantagh. To no avail, Catholic Charities discovered that congregations, communities of faith, throughout this area had no interest in serving seniors. If they were interested, their facilities were not large enough. When the administrator of senior services for Catholic Charities called me and explained the program and what they were looking for, I was immediately convicted by the Holy Spirit to realize that this is a ministry which would fit exactly into our mission and vision by continuing to help the most vulnerable in our society. My mind, first and foremost, thought of St. Michael and All Angels, and I agreed to meet her there in order to tour the facilities and learn much more about their programs. Alas, when we met, toured, and talked, it was clear that St. Michael and All Angels was not large enough to house a center. That is why they left St. Michael and All Angels 5 years ago. The administrator asked if St. Jude might be available, and if she could tour the facilities. Now, always willing to showcase our parish, I said, and I quote, I remember this distinctly, "Let's go. However, before we visit, please know that although St. Jude might be exactly what you are looking for, there is a lot of discernment that would have to happen, certain dates where the center could not operate, and an agreement about space usage and shared facilities, along with the need to consult with the leadership of the vestry and, if needed, the bishop and standing committee of the Diocese of Long Island." Of course, after touring our facilities, which we know are 100% handicap accessible, we knew that St. Jude definitely fit the needs for the senior center. I was asked if the administrator could come back in a few days with others from Catholic Charities and, of course, representatives from the county. After saying yes to a tour, I reached out to Mother Maxine, our wardens, treasurer, finance committee chairman as they're in transition, buildings and ground committee chairman, and my go-to person for all such things, Chris Wright, to inform them what was happening and asking them to be part of an ongoing discernment process. To make a long story short, since mid-July after the General Convention, and through lots of tours, emails, meetings, and discernment, Catholic Charities in Nassau County requested that the Senior Center be able to relocate to St. Jude. After more emails and phone calls back and forth, a visit to the current location to see firsthand what they do, and lots of negotiations, I signed a short-term agreement, month to month, up to a year, with the unanimous and extremely encouraging vote of the wardens and vestry for the Senior Center to move into St. Jude with staff starting September 1st, and with seniors coming on September 10th. The vestry also unanimously agreed to immediately pursue a long-term lease with Catholic Charities to give both of our organizations certainty. Most likely, it would be a 5-year lease, which would need the approval of the Bishop of the Diocese of Long Island, its standing committee, and the Chancellor of the Diocese. Now, the question I know all of you are thinking is this: what does this mean for us? So here's the details in short. And any member of the vestry, the wardens, Mother Maxine, and I are available to fill in any blanks for you or any questions you might have. 1, the Church of St. Jude is once again living into our mission and vision to help the most vulnerable of the society. From the beginning of life to the ending of life, we will be ministering to babies and toddlers and seniors. This is a major boost to our ministry portfolio. 2, the Senior Center is completely operated and funded by Catholic Charities and supervised by the county. It will abide by our inclusivity guidelines and all other policies of St. Jude. No discrimination. 3, although the center is run by Catholic Charities, we believe that this is a shared ministry. Mother Maxine and I have been encouraged to stop by and talk with the seniors and staff. The mice makers who have been struggling with dwindling numbers over the years, if they choose, might have some more volunteers that would love to join them. If you have specific talents that you might have, they would love to have your talents shared with them. Likewise, the guests will always be invited to attend any of our activities if they choose. And if you're 60 years and older, you're invited to take part in the Senior Center. And even if it only means coming to lunch with a small donation of $3, and that's not even mandatory. Now, I don't reach that age bracket, but Mother Maxine does. And also, I'm told to say that, when they do serve amazing pasta, that Nancy, that's the day that you're supposed to come. We believe there are a number of our members of our parish who could and will benefit from this ministry. 4, the center operates Monday through Friday with staff and guests arriving at 8:30 a.m. Well, the guests should be arriving later, but some seniors, they're early birds. They're waiting there in the parking lot, with the vast majority of guests arriving by bus at 10 a.m. All guests are gone by 2, with the staff staying until 4:30. The center will not be operating the week before the country fair, the week of Vacation Bible School, and a few days the week before VBS. 5, Catholic Charities realizes that this is a shared space and that there will be times where there may be other activities going on at the same time within the same room. 6, the center will use the parish hall, kitchen, chapel for activities like lectures, etc., and holy yoga, bathrooms, staff closet, classroom 3, Monday through Friday only, for book clubs, art classes, etc., while storing their supplies in their office. And they will occupy classroom 2 as its office. The small buses will be parked in the back of our parking lot Monday through Friday, and will be at St. Michael and All Angels on Saturday and Sunday. If there is a big funeral during the week, the buses will either park on the street or park at St. Michael and All Angels. Miss Wendy, Mother Maxine, and I are coordinating the logistics of losing one classroom, but we think we've figured it out. The center staff realized that I will not tolerate any mission creep. That means they must remain only in agreed upon areas. If you were around when the Episcopal Mothers Center was here, you will know how much creeping happened in their ministry. It took over so much of the facility. 7, and this is amazing, any upgrades to our facilities needed to operate the senior center will be 100% paid for by Catholic Charities and not by St. Jude. In the short term, this will be upgrading our electrical capabilities in the kitchen and parish hall, no more blowing fuses, and installing phones and internet in their office. Once a long-term agreement is signed, they will begin the process of renovating the kitchen to become an industrial kitchen. All plans must be agreed upon by the vestry and me. Catholic Charities will be responsible for all necessary permits, inspections, and anything else that may be required. This would mean that in the not so distant future, we will have an industrial kitchen with a stovetop and an ancillary unit approved for use by the county that we'll also be using at no cost to us. 8, the Senior Center hires 3 senior citizens from the Urban League to clean bathrooms, parish hall, kitchen, and other shared space at the end of the day. So it will not have to be extra work for our sextons. The Senior Center will provide meaningful financial contribution, which would increase at 2.5% per year. This would assist us in enhancing our other ministries, buildings and ground costs, and making additional payments to our remaining mortgage on the parish hall. Now please note, and please note this well, it is not meant to supplant your tithes and offerings. Remember, we entered 2018 with an austerity budget. We entered to it not knowing where God would lead us, but we entered it in faith, and look just how much God has provided. 9, the Senior Center will provide its own insurance and will not hold St. Jude liable unless and only if there is neglect on our end, which we will not have. And finally, the Senior Center will have little, if any, impact on other activities and groups during the week. Your wardens, vestry, and I have discussed every possible avenue where there may be questions or concerns. I mean it. We have discussed everything. We believe all concerns have been worked out. Although with change, we know there will be issues that come up that we will address at the time. However, after learning firsthand about the vital mission of the Senior Center and how life-changing it is for the seniors, your wardens, vestry, and I were like, when can we start? And we have zero doubt that this is a God-led mission. This is an exciting moment in our communal life. I ask your prayers for an easy transition, for the seniors at the center who will, although they know change is coming, will find the change at first difficult, for Catholic Charities, for the county, and for us. It is only through the discernment of the Holy Spirit that this is happening. Without a doubt, I know we are blessed. Your brother in Christ.